Florian Wirtz is Liverpool's new number 10. Milos Kerkez takes that left back spot and Jeremy Frimpong locks down the right back spot. That's a serious statement from Arne Slot and the Liverpool board. But what's even more impressive is how intentional they have been so far. Liverpool clearly went into this summer with a game plan. Some positions simply needed to be addressed, and that's where Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong come in. Two fullbacks to replace what Liverpool are about to lose in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. The intensity of that backline goes back up. And then you have Florian Wirtz. That was a rare opportunity, a generational number 10 who became available. Liverpool probably didn't need it as a priority position or profile, but he's just so good that you couldn't ignore it. But let's not get carried away. There's a lot of work still to be done. In my last video, I broke down the players who could leave Liverpool this summer. If you haven't already checked that out, go check it out. It gives the full context as to why this squad is still in transition. Because with those exits looming, the club still needs more reinforcements. Arne Slot is going to want a tight, reliable core of around 16 to 18 players who he can fully trust, and that means clearing out the deadwood first like I spoke about in my last video and replacing them with players that Arne Slot definitely trust. Right now, Liverpool are progressing on a few outgoings, but while those deals are still being wrapped up, the recruitment team is now looking at who they can sign in the next phase of the transfer window. So in this video, we are going to look at where the gaps are, which key positions still need to be filled, and for each position, I am going to give 3 realistic transfer targets, broken down into a dream signing, a realistic signing, and a wild card shout, something a bit more unexpected. I'll be covering every key area that needs strengthening, and trust me, when we get to the striker picks, there are going to be some very rogue shouts that might surprise you. So stick around until the end. Alright, let's start with the main position, and that is centre back, because this is one position that Liverpool still need to fix. Right now, Ibrahima Konate hasn't signed a new contract and he's only got 1 year left. Jairo Quansah has decided to join Bayer Leverkusen for about 35 million, and Liverpool were interested previously in Dean Huijsen, but he signed for Real Madrid instead. So what's left? Well, Liverpool centre-back options currently are Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez. You've got Gravenberch and Wataru Endo who can fill in as centre-back, but let's be honest, that's not their position. So Liverpool definitely need to sign a centre-back. My dream signing would be Castello Lukeba from RB Leipzig. Reports say he could be available for 75 million, and every single summer that release clause will get lower. He can play as a left-back, he can play as a left centre-back, he's 22 years old and he is naturally left-footed. That kind of versatility is definitely something Liverpool could do with. And the real draw though is that he is so fast. Lukeba is rapid, he's got elite recovery pace and he dominates his 1v1 duels definitely on the floor. If you get a ball going behind him, he has the recovery pace to get him behind and make sure he's in the right place at the right time. He's very aggressive, front-footed. He likes to read passes like a seasoned pro. He always gets in the way and is able to intercept those passes and get the ball back for Liverpool in this case. And being left-footed, that adds an extra dimension to Liverpool's build-up play. It opens up passing angles that Liverpool currently don't have because he is left-footed. And that could be massive for Arne Slot's build-up system. If he did sign, tactically Lukeba would give Liverpool flexibility. He would allow Virgil van Dijk to rest more, he would be a perfect partner to Ibrahima Konate, and if needed, he could even be used as a left-back as a more defensive option than someone like Milos Kerkez. At 22, he also wouldn't demand a guaranteed starting role imminently. He could develop under Virgil van Dijk and become an even better centre-back. But there are of course some concerns. 75 million is a lot of money for a player who's going to be a third-choice centre-back. And second, he's not as dominant in the air, which we have become accustomed to with Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. So is he the right target? Then I move on to my realistic target, and that is definitely Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. He has been the most strongly linked centre-back so far. He's 24, right-footed, he's comfortable playing as a right centre-back and a left centre-back. He is a Premier League proven centre-back and an England international, and he's also captained Crystal Palace before. One thing people underrate about Guehi though is his box defending. When you're sitting deep and when you're getting crosses getting into that box, Marc Guehi is very good at sniffing out danger, making sure he's in the right place for blocks, and he's always in the right place in the box. When Konate can be a bit more chaotic with his play and high risk, Marc Guehi is a little bit of the opposite. He's calm, composed, positionally smart, he knows when to stay back, and he's a very solid passer, especially under pressure. He can get out with the dribble dribble, he can get out with the pass. And with just 1 year left on his contract and the fact that he is homegrown, Guehi could be the option that is definitely available for a reasonable fee. But like any player, there are downsides. He doesn't have that explosive pace that we expect from Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. And while he's good at passing, his long passing can definitely be improved upon. And that moves me on to the wild card shout. Christian Romero. Yes, I'm talking about Tottenham's Christian Romero. He's 26, right in his prime. He can play as a right centre-back, but he's also comfortable playing as a left centre-back. He's great friends with Alexis McAllister, and he wants to win trophies. And now that Ange Postecoglou is gone, who Romero had a very good relationship with, maybe he might be gettable. So why Romero? Well, he brings something Liverpool's current centre-backs, besides maybe Ibrahima Konate, don't have. He is pure fight, controlled chaos. He's got that dog in him. He rattles strikers, he gets in with them physically, and he lets them know that they are in for a battle today. And what gets me more excited about Romero is his in-possession play. He can break the lines with ease. And now imagine you have Virgil van Dijk and Christian Romero in the build-up play for Arne Slot. Our passing ability from deep would be absolutely brilliant to watch. And he always thrives in the big games. He has never lost a final. He is someone who picks himself up for the big games, and imagine Romero playing under the lights at Anfield. He would be absolutely brilliant. Of course, there's the disciplinary issues and the injury record to think about, but overall I think Romero would be an excellent signing. But I think Liverpool's main target is definitely going to be Marc Guehi. He's affordable, he's homegrown, he adds leadership, and crucially, he would not mind being a third choice centre-back behind Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. Lukeba's exciting, but he's expensive. Romero is a fun shout, but Spurs probably wouldn't sell him. Let me know down below in the comments, who would you sign as a centre-back for Liverpool? And make sure to stick around because we're getting into the strikers next. Let's move on to the big priority after centre-back, and that is the striker position. Liverpool have Darwin Núñez, but let's be honest, he is definitely gone, and right now it looks like Napoli are the favourites to sign him. Then we have Diogo Jota, but last season was a disaster physically. He just can't handle the intensity of the Premier League on a regular basis. Luis Diaz filled in as a striker, but we all know that is not the best solution. So next season, Liverpool need a proper number 9. A striker that Arne Slot can rely upon, who fits the system and most importantly, puts the ball into the back of the net. The dream target is of course one man and one man only, Alexander Isak from Newcastle. He's about to turn 26, coming off his best season in the Premier League in terms of goals. Newcastle are in the Champions League, but let's be honest, if Liverpool come knocking, he would definitely think about it, just because of the amount of trophies he could win at Liverpool. Isak can play off the left, but his main position, as we all know, is as the main number 9. And the biggest quality he has, finishing ability. He is ruthless in front of goal, which is the complete opposite of what we've had with Darwin Núñez. With players like Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah feeding him chances, I know Alexander Isak will be licking his lips at the chance to be the striker for Liverpool. He's reliable in front of goal, and that is exactly what Liverpool need. But it doesn't stop there, because his link-up play is extremely underrated. He gets his teammates involved in the game. His passing ability is excellent. He can play his back to goal, spin the defender, and get Salah and Wirtz into the game. Of course, there are some concerns. His injury record isn't great, and when you're spending that much money on him, you shouldn't be spending it on a player who you don't think will be available for the whole of the season. But if Liverpool do want to go big in the summer, then this is the one. The realistic target, though, is a little bit of a same type of profile as Alexander Isak, but a baby Isak. And I'm going with Hugo Ekitike. He's 23 years old. He's fresh off a brilliant season at Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. And he's not a traditional number 9. He moves. He roams around. He's very good at going towards that left half space, picking the ball up, getting his teammates into the game like Wirtz and Salah. And he's definitely got some raw tools that can become a very brilliant striker in the Premier League in the future. He's physically gifted, he's technically smart, and he's tactically intelligent. He's got something special about him that I feel like under Arne Slot, he could become a brilliant striker. But let's not kid ourselves, there is more risk here. He's being priced at 100 million euros right now, which is definitely not what he's worth. And he's also not a clinical finisher by trade. He's definitely underperformed his XG, and he's missed some big chances, even though I feel like his ball striking ability and finishing isn't as bad as what people make make it out to be. So yeah, he has potential, but Liverpool would definitely need to develop him more than someone like Alexander Isak. And my wild card pick is Jonathan David. He's 25, he's out of contract at Lille, which means he is available for a free transfer. If Liverpool want to spend big elsewhere, then Jonathan David could come in and do a job until they are able to sign a big boy striker. He is an instinctive finisher. He doesn't need time or space, he just needs a moment and he will bury his chance. He's quick, he's sharp, and he's efficient, which is exactly what Liverpool's attack lacks. Tactically, he fits what Slot wants. He's flexible, he can drift out wide, he can drop in as a 10, and he has the intelligence to adapt into his role. From a coaching perspective, he's definitely someone that Arne Slot could work with. But there are limitations. He's not a physical striker, so he won't be bullying centre-backs, and he's also better in transitions than he is against the deep block. So David is a good shout, especially as a budget-friendly option, but he's not the guaranteed 20-goal striker that Isak would be. So if I'm being honest, I'm going all in for Isak. Next up, we're diving into the midfield targets, and there's a couple of big ones. When talking about the midfield, mainly I am talking about the defensive midfielder role. It isn't the biggest priority, but it's definitely a position Liverpool could improve upon. Last season, Ryan Gravenberch played so many games that in the second half of the season, he was absolutely knackered. And on top of that, he is a ball-carrying midfielder. And when you're playing against a deep block, you want a passing type of midfielder, which is a completely different profile to what Ryan Gravenberch is. Someone who's going to control the game. And here are three options that I think make sense. The dream option for me has to be Adam Wharton. He has been unbelievable since joining Crystal Palace, and he's only 21, 22 years old. He is one of the most exciting midfield talents that we have seen for England in many years. And what makes him different to what Liverpool currently have is that he's left-footed, which Liverpool don't have in their midfield. And he's also extremely versatile. He can play as a deep playmaking 6 or he can play as an 8. But the real standout trait of his that I really like is his game intelligence. He plays like a veteran. He might not be the fastest, but he is always in the right place at the right time. He presses with intent. He wins the ball back early. He immediately scans where his pass should go and then plays a brilliant pass. And speaking of his passing, he has elite passing range. He can open his body up. He can break the lines. He can even switch it from deep, all with that brilliant left foot of his. And that gives Liverpool something different. Where Gravenberch drives with the ball, Wharton controls the game through his tempo and passing angles. Now, of course, there's some concerns. He hasn't played at the very top level, which is the Champions League, so we don't know how he would perform then. And with how good he has been, Palace will demand a huge fee. But if you want a perfect tempo controller, this is the guy. But then we have a more realistic target, which is someone similar to Adam Wharton, but probably cheaper. Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart. He was even linked to Real Madrid recently. At 24 years old, he's in the perfect age bracket to be able to be ready to contribute now and also have potential to improve. He's also left-footed and he's also a natural number 6. But what makes Stiller appealing is how well he would fit into Slot's system. He's used to playing in a positional, possession-heavy football, and he thrives in that role. He is a proper metronome. He keeps the ball moving, he finds the right angles for his passes, and most importantly, he brings calmness in the midfield. Of course, there are a few drawbacks. Physically, he's limited. He doesn't cover ground as quick as other midfielders. He's technically mature, but as an athlete, he probably has a low athlete ceiling compared to other players. But still, for a player who plays for Stuttgart, that means he would be affordable, he would be very composed in the team, and he would be tactically well suited to play for an Arne Slot team. And then we go on to the wild card shout, a player who I have always been impressed by, and that is Boubacar Kamara at Aston Villa. He is the most naturally defensive midfielder out of all of these options. He's strong, he's positionally elite, and he's capable of dropping back into a back 3, which is something that Liverpool will definitely do more next season. At Villa, he shows he can win the ball back aggressively. He can protect the back line. He's also very composed with the ball at his feet. He's calm under pressure. He has the ability to thread passes through the lines, and he even drives past players in tight spaces. And what I love most about this option is that he's Premier League proven and he's physically built for the demands of English football. And when you add the context that Aston Villa have PSR issues and Kamara still hasn't signed a new contract, he could be available for less than you'd expect. But of course, there are the concerns that he had a major injury, and usually in the second year after a major injury is when you can see yourself get those drawbacks from that injury. Now, of course, Liverpool's physios are very good. They could work with him. And in my opinion, though, in terms of all of the midfielders I've spoken about, if there's money there, I want Adam Wharton as the perfect long-term investment in that midfield. But now we are moving on to the final position, and that is wingers. Now, this final position definitely depends on who leaves. If Luis Diaz leaves, then we definitely need a winger. And I would want a winger who's more natural, someone who's very different to what Cody Gakpo is, someone who's going to provide competition to Cody Gakpo, but he's more of a natural winger who's going to stretch the pitch, beat their man, and bring something different to what we currently have. And in terms of the dream target is Bradley Barcola. He is unbelievable at PSG, and he's only just 21, 22 years old. He has all the tools to explode into one of Europe's best wingers. He primarily plays off the left, but he's comfortable on the right as well. And what sets him apart to the current wingers that we have is that movement off the ball, that ability to run in behind. He always times his runs perfectly, and once he's in behind, it's very difficult to catch him. And when you have players like Wirtz and Salah playing passes into him, he would be absolutely elite at the club. But there are of course some concerns with his play, and that is that he has a tendency to rush his finishes in front of goal, so he's not the best finisher just yet, and at times his decision making can be costly, especially in that final third. But with the right coaching, Barcola can be world class for Liverpool. And when we go to a more realistic target, we have Malik Fofana from Lyon. With Lyon just being relegated, he could be available for a stupidly good price at just 19 years old. He's mainly a left winger, but again, like Barcola, he can play on the right side. He's so fun to watch. He's direct and fearless. When he gets the ball, he's always thinking about how to get towards goal. He drives at defenders, he creates separations, and then he shoots when he gets that window to shoot. He's very explosive out wide. He causes defenders to panic, which can open up space against deep blocks, especially when you have the likes of Salah and Wirtz running in behind. And he wouldn't demand a starting role straight away. But the wild card shout that I have is someone that you might not have thought of, and it's very wild. Kenan Yildiz from Juventus. He's a star boy in the making, just 20 years old. He's already making waves for Juve, and you can see he is ready for the best type of football that you can think of. Champions League nights, World Cup, that sort of level. He is absolutely brilliant to watch. He can play as a left winger, he can play as a 10. He's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's technically at a very high level. And when you think about the central play that you can create with the likes of Kenan Yildiz and Florian Wirtz in the middle, you are looking at players who can easily break down a deep block. And that has been Liverpool's biggest problem throughout the seasons. And he's actually a very good goal threat as well. He's got elite ball striking ability, we saw the other day. But obviously, he's less of a natural winger, which is something that I don't want in that winger that we signed. And with Florian Wirtz already in, I don't think Kenan Yildiz would be the best profile to sign. So if there was one player we could sign as a winger, Bradley Barcola would be the guy to sign. He's dynamic, he's direct, and he has all the raw materials to be an elite winger at Liverpool. Overall, Liverpool still have some important work to do before the transfer window closes. They've made a brilliant start, real momentum, and now it's about keeping that going. So if you had to rank the priorities, for me, I'm going as a striker coming first, then the centre back, then the defensive midfielder, and then a winger depending on if Luis Diaz leaves. The main focus for Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards is crystal clear. Build a squad of 16 to 18 players that Arne Slot can trust, and then we can go on to win everything next season. Players who, when they come on, won't cause such a drop in the level of quality on the pitch, won't cause a drop in the level of control for Liverpool. That's definitely something we struggled with last season. But it's a very exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. After winning the Premier League, now making moves in the transfer window, and we are going to have a brilliant competitive squad going into the next season. A squad that can genuinely push for multiple competitions. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into where Liverpool should be focusing their transfer efforts. If you did, don't forget to like the video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which player do you want to see at Liverpool and in what positions? Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload. Thanks for watching and peace.